I'm Van.
I'm sorry.
And this is Trivium, Throes of Perdition.
Yep, for the big homie Derek.
For the big homie Derek. This should be very, very interesting. As we're talking, the RNC is happening, the Republican National Convention. So having said that, for timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up in Middle America with Ben and Sorry. Now, there are multiple ways to get your song reviewed, dear listener. My favorite way is the $1 option, community option. You do it at Patreon, and then you pull your points together. You meet all these great people, the legendary Kellen Dross, etc., etc. And then the best part of it is you pull your points together and you get a song review. Now, if you're a filthy capitalist like Sorry and you don't want to wait and you don't care about being on Patreon or whatever, although you can do the $125 at Patreon.
You can.
Sorrymerch at gmail.com. $125 gets you straight to the head of the line, and that is what the big homie Derek did. And so, without further ado, by the way, you do that 3 times, you get knocked down to the $75 rate. Without further ado, Throes of Perdition.
We haven't had some Trivium in a while, so.
Quite some time.
Ready?
Whoa. That's different. That is different. Whoa.
Blindfolded and gagged, stood waiting with
Mother. Favorite song of the last. The Proto-Men song is my favorite song.
Careful.
Proto-Men's, okay, this...
Played that one non-stop in the car.
This may end up being the second best song of 2024 so far. Now, we know the copyright thing said 2009, but it's 2020 debut for... funny story, it's a true story. I was working with Hef on something. So he's like, let's just jump on a call. So I jumped on a call in Ring Central.
Yeah.
And it's the guitarist from this band, Hef, and then me. Hef was like, yo, people can see this video right now.
Losing the mind.
Yeah, but the guy was just like, he was just a cool dude, man. He was just like, I was like, okay, go for it, guys. See you later. We set him up with something and yada, yada, yada. So shout out to the big homie Alex Hefner. Like, share, comment, subscribe to that channel for sure. What? We like that.
When you advertise for other people, I think it's great.
I don't do that often. Just my people, Blake, Hef. Subscribe to Nuclear Reactions too. Blake X. Talk to him. Man, the guitar, play that guitar thing and hope to God that they don't, that this doesn't get blocked, because that would really suck.
Probably want to stretch it a little bit.
See, that's an original, original sound, man. Like,
yeah.
I keep talking about this, like we're in a band, yada yada, and obviously me being a guitarist in the band, the template is very limited. But
Okay.
you know, it's like, so like when you're trying to create something, that's different, sounds cool,
Yep.
and it ends up being dumb. But the way
it sounded so good.
He took a traditional type of thing and he flipped his old back. Breakdown was awesome. The chorus is crazy. Loved the video because they were all rocking in the video, which
I know.
You know I love to see people into their own music. The musicianship on this was
Vocal
absolutely
style
crazy.
was really, I really liked his vocal style too.
Vocal style.
He did a couple different things with his vocals.
The lead work. It was just such a good song, bro. Such a good song.
I actually didn't focus at all on the lyrics because I just wanted to focus on the video and the feel of the song.
Yeah.
And it was like, I really liked the way that it was like going. It was fun to rock out to, and I think that have you ever seen any of their live videos? I'd be curious to hear them live. I feel like they probably do it live, what they were doing here. It'd be cool to see if they get that crowd going and stuff.
Yeah, that open chord playing stuff is cool.
I really like the visuals too in the music video.
Yeah.
Because when Justice, I mean I was thinking of her to be called Justice, but I'm sure she probably has a name. The woman that's blindfolded and she's holding up the scales.
Yeah, Lady Justice.
Is it Lady Justice? Yeah, that was like, I was a little confused by the end though, and I'm not sure if sometimes the video and the lyrics don't have anything to do with each other, and so I'm not really sure. But it looked like the chains were breaking by the end, and Justice was coming down to him, but then he turned to stone.
Well, it looked like an angel almost.
Well, I thought it was the same character. I thought like Justice.
What made you? Where was the Lady Justice imagery in there? Like, I'm not saying I disagree, but I just.
Okay, if you want me to do it, move your hands, please.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think it was right at the beginning. Right here, see?
Yeah.
She was in there multiple times.
She's holding the scales.
Yeah, and I thought that there was like an up-close picture of her with the blindfolds. But it was just, see?
Yeah.
She's blindfolded and she's got those things.
That's a good catch, babe.
Yeah.
A good catch.
Well, man.
She's got elven ears.
Yeah, she does, yeah. And she has a sword in her hand. Yeah. But then she also has the scales.
Yeah, minute, take a parson.
And so, to me, it's the same character that came down to him at the end, but maybe it wasn't.
No, I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay, so he's like fighting with these chains, and then I thought that. So obviously, I'm a Christian.
He reaches.
And so, like at the very end, he's like, I don't know if you saw the chains loosening. Mm-hmm. First of all, I liked it when that guy spit that stuff. I've actually never seen that in a video before.
He spit what?
I don't know. One of the player spit something out of his mouth in one of the scenes. It was just looked cool against the background. But anyway, so I was watching him like just struggle with these chains, and he's all busted up and stuff. And so to me, it was like,
just go to the.
Well, no, I was looking for something else at the same time. I know you can't stand it. Is it just taking too long? Okay, but then at the end, I thought when she came down. So see, she's coming down. Did you see the chains loosening?
No, because I was focusing mostly on the lyrics.
So he's like pulling this entire time, and then toward the end, like you see how he's like gripping, and then see the chains start breaking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This is the moment. See, he's like breaking free. It looked like. But then it seemed like that they tightened more on him actually. But then she came down and I was like, okay, justice and mercy, they met on the cross, and I knew that it wasn't a Christian song, but to me that was like what it was. It was like, because I think that women encapsulate beauty more than men, obviously. And so when you have justice depicted as a woman, but also she had the sword, so it just reminded me of Jesus and how he brings judgment, but he also brings mercy, and how when that is the same person, it's like, if you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
If God before us, who can be against us? But then, so she reaches out to him, and I'm like, those chains, they're gonna go right off. But then he reaches up, and then friggin' he turns to stone. With the chains stuck on him, and he doesn't look happy. So, and then this guy goes like, so I'm like, what happened? So I was a little bit horrified at the end because I didn't know what happened. So I don't know, do the lyrics speak anything to this video at all? Or?
Well, yeah, life feels like hell should, but this hell's so cold. Pull another knife out, stick it with the rest of them when my back is full. So it's about being stabbed in the back or betrayed.
Yeah.
So here he is struggling, basically this guy's been struggling all his life. He gets close to breaking free, and then he gets betrayed by the powers that be, Lady Justice. So it goes...
So she wasn't?
Well, I think the idea is, if you're supposed to be impartial when you hear an accusation or judge someone or whatever, you're supposed to be impartial. But in the real world, that's not what happens. So they basically, it was like, Lady Justice won't give you justice, then forget it. See what I'm saying? Like,
ooh, yeah.
you're not gonna get it anywhere. So it looks like
she looks so nice too, and then
I always thought the Lady Justice, the little thing with I was always like, she always,
you didn't like that?
Well, because she was never smiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like a 5-year-old kid. I'm like, yo, this broad, she never smiles. There must be something wrong with her. I didn't realize that justice many times means something bad is going to happen to you as a recompense for what you did before.
Yeah.
I was like, why
see,
is she
I always
smiling?
wanted that, the scale thing, like, not even necessarily Lady Justice, it could be her, but I pictured like they have the scale and then it's got the two arms.
Yeah.
And then it like weighs both ways.
Yeah.
I wanted one side to say all my sin and the other side to say grace. Mm-hmm. And I wanted grace to weigh out all my sin.
That's a
but
tattoo.
I wanted the weights, the scale, the old-fashioned scale looking thing, to, in the way that it was artistically drawn, to look like a cross. But not so much that it was like, that's a cross with scales on it. Like, I wanted it to be a little bit like...
Some corny.
Yeah, I want it to be a little bit hidden, but there, and so, yeah.
So
and I guess having Lady Justice in there would be kind of a cool thing. But anyway, so...
well, Metallica had her on the Justice for All record. She was featured on the art or whatever. Blindfolded and gagged, stood waiting with the whole world, my firing squad. At the edge of the world, I'm faced out, staring the sun right in the eye. Vultures circle above, hyenas mocking to kill, excrement drooling from their chins. Atop the cliffs, I look down into the starving hellmouth. The rabid foam crashes hard on its teeth. Woo! That's some badass writing. Mm-hmm. So the whole world is your firing squad, which is again kind of
everybody's against me.
The imagery of Lady Justice coming down and screwing him up is like, well, if the whole world is against you, you're definitely not going to get justice. And a lot of people feel that way. When they run into conflicts, they feel like the whole entire world is after them. I remember thinking to myself, like, bro, there's 8 billion people on the planet. 99.999999999% of which don't even
have a
know
clue who
of
you
your
are.
existence. But when you're in the middle of it, it can feel like that. It can feel like the whole world is like.
Well, when we were in the middle of all that stuff way back before, you and I got together, like there was so much going on, and it felt like everybody was like against me, against you, and then when we went to California, I was like. Well, all these small people.
A very small group of.
Yeah. Yeah, a very small group of people.
Well, yeah, and that to me, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But you had to have that experience outside of me.
Yeah.
But, I do think, obviously, a person might say, well, obviously, we don't really mean the whole world is against us, right? And I know that even the person saying it isn't literally saying it cognitively, but that's what they're feeling emotionally. And one of my strategies for my own mental health or whatever is to always say what is true. So if you start with a very basic, simple to understand truth and work backwards, it's actually a lot better for your mental health. So for example, if I feel like the whole world is against me, the most basic truth of that is that there's 8 billion people on the planet, the majority of which do not know who you are. Okay, that's plank 1. Plank 2 is, it's really only the people, generally speaking, in your immediate circle who are against you. That doesn't mean that everybody's against you. And then, you just work it from there. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get new friends, you're gonna, whatever. And then you're able to go forward and not really worry about, this person's opinion or that person's opinion or whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is difficult to do when you're a rock star because, especially a band like this, he could say, yeah, but there's probably millions of people who, whatever. But even in that situation, there's still a counter argument because you could say, yeah, bro, but you got millions of people that love you and are fans of your music. And you see what I'm saying? So there's ways to... If you feel something emotionally, it doesn't mean you have to surrender to the emotion. You can deploy your mind to work with your heart, and you can do vice versa too. So I think this is one of those situations where I use my mind to kind of shepherd my heart away from that type of. I've done it for years, and I think growing up the way I did, like you learn the triage stuff. You know what I mean? Like. You learn to sit back and like start going through these progressions in your head to convince yourself that everything's... So I was doing that since I was a little kid. So, transitioning into that way of thinking into adulthood wasn't a problem for me. But, you're talking about vultures circling above, hyenas mocking to kill, etc.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could think if you were in a band, and you know how sometimes, like, we've talked about this before, they change their style of music because they're growing and they're changing,
100%.
And then everybody's, like, against them because they hate their new album. You know what I mean? Like, even though they still have fans, it might feel more like everybody's against you because they don't like what you just did, but what you just did is from you.
No, yeah, I can definitely see that. So yeah, verse 2, they're feeding their guns, ready aim. They say, I'll live if I die for their cause, living under the rule of fellow Cro-Magnon fool. I think it's Cro-Magnon. Wasn't Cro-Magnon like one of the earlier phases of evolution, Cro-Magnon?
Oh, I don't know.
Google that real quick. I'm pretty sure it's like close to saying a Neanderthal, right?
Oh, wow.
So maybe he's just like saying that I told you it's
You're
Cro-Magnon.
right.
Is a place in France. Several prehistoric skeletons were found. The Cro-Magnon type of prehistoric human appears to have been healthy, but built and fairly tall compared with the Neanderthals. So actually, Cro-Magnon were actually humans. They were prehistoric humans, and they were bigger than the Neanderthals. That's very interesting. So, here is Cro-Magnon Homo sapien. Check it. Yeah, there you go. They're Homo sapiens. So, anyway.
Did you see that thing that said Cro-Magnon, like eyebrows? Imagine.
Yeah, that's like the real calcium.
It sounds like something. I don't think I ever had big bushy eyebrows, but like sometimes there would be people that were around me and they would say something super insulting, but I didn't know what it meant. And then you look it up later, you're like, wow. Okay.
So, And he's talking about the birds and the hyenas. You know, these are scavenger type animals, and I think, especially when you start ascending the goals that these guys have done musically and professionally and all that, there's always going to be a whole cadre of people looking for you to downfall, looking for you to die, and you know what I mean, like And then that's what he talks about. They say, I'll live if I die for their cause, which is like, if you do what we want you to do, then you'll be accepted. And he's saying, man, get out of here with that. And I think people need to, like, that's one of those life things, man, where you have to reconcile within yourself, this is my code, I'm sticking to my code.
Right.
And I don't give a damn if everybody has some crazy, reckless, silly thing to say. Like, I'm going to say, you know, what I actually believe and be who I am and die for the causes that I want and not dying for the causes of, you know,
It's hard to get there, but the more and more that I get there, the more content I am. Yeah,
and I think he's working it out.
Yep.
You know, I was around a certain group of people that I knew hated my guts and yada yada. You know, just kind of you know, smile at him like Brother Malcolm did. And you know, but that's something that's been like an ongoing thing for my whole life. I think a lot of it has to do with just being the new kid all the time, so people didn't have those like bonds. So then if you got on the basketball court and started getting reckless on the basketball court, then people are gonna wanna, you know what I mean, or whatever it is, you know, fighting or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, people were very, very quick for that, and so you just have to, you know. But it seems like it affected the big homie. But good Lord, sonically, these guys were crazy. What were you gonna say?
Well, just, you know, some of the ways that he explains it, they're mal salvate, fantasizing my gruesome ending. This world looks down upon a man who can stand on his own 2 feet without eating from their claws. Yeah. And that is, so there is a sense in which it feels like that. Like, be it that extreme or not, I don't know. But when you're on the receiving end of that, it feels like, you know, fantasizing my gruesome ending. Are they? I don't know if they're really fantasizing his gruesome ending, or if it's that deep, or if it just feels that way from his perspective. But it is true that people do not like it if somebody will stand on their own 2 feet without eating from their claws. If that's what those people want, and you refuse to do it, you're gonna pay the price.
Yeah. And really, that line is important. They fear who leads and will kill to stay fill. Living under the rules of fellow Cro-Magnon fools, they fear who leads and will kill to stay still. So, like, that is at the root of a lot of people's behavior, is they're operating and functioning in fear. And so, especially once a person realizes this person is not influenced by my opinion of them, it makes people very, very nervous. People get extremely nervous and go, we gotta do something about this, because that's a person you can't control, and then other people might start getting ideas. What do you give the song?
I'm actually giving this one a 9.8.
It's a 9.9 for me. Very, very, I'm going to give it a 10, because aside from that Protomen song, this song was the best song of the year. And I'm going to be doing my planks tonight, so it's a 10 for me. There you are, dear listener. Really good song. Thank you very much. Good selection. Thin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.
Steering the sun right in the eye. Vulture circle of blood. Hyenas fucking the kill. Let's go back crawling down their chest. What's on the cliffs I look down.